Hello whisky fans, I'm Ralphie, welcome to the Bothy and welcome to Ralphie Review 1094, in which I was going to review Oban Little Bay. The reason being that it is a widely available, commonly spotted single malt Scotch whisky in many places around the world, therefore it's widely available. However, I'm not going to review it. I'm going to review this instead. Portascaig Cask Strength. This is a widely available, well-known, independent bottling of primarily Islay single malt whiskies of various ages, and it's generally good stuff. I'm not reviewing this because you're obviously looking for a reason here, and you deserve an explanation. And the explanation is simple. I am deeply, deeply disappointed with this, much more than I expected to be, and I'll be going into a bit more depth on why and the action that I'm taking in review number 1094 Extras, which is coming along after this review. So let's put this unfortunate waste of money out of sight and focus on this, which has been a very good spend the money. Portascaig, you'll find it in Islay. It's a geographical location, and this particular version, it's a generic term, you see, to just give you clues, to give you specifics on what to expect from the whisky experience. So Portascaig, Islay, this is cask strength, small batch, and I'll give you the specific batch details because you will be interested. And if you're just new to whisky, could I suggest that you learn very quickly to look out for the coding and the batch details, because I assure you, you will find this more and more important as time goes on. Oh, the smell of that whisky's coming out to meet me already. It is delightful. So here we are. This is batch number 1 of 2023. So it's been bottled in 2023. Still available for sale because it's not such a well-known proprietary brand as the official bottlings. But it gives us more information. It says on the front of the label, and this is code, by the way. I was telling you about code. Many of you already know. Non-chill filtered and no added colouring. Fantastic. Also, this has been matured in 25% of first fill toasted bourbon barrels and 75% of refill American oak hogsheads. What does that tell you? Well, hogsheads aren't used for maturing bourbon. They're used for maturing sherry. So what you have, right, in using refill, you have less sherry influence, and in using first fill toasted bourbon barrels, you have heavier American ex-bourbon influence. Both casks using regionally the same wood, of varying quality, because American oak, the quality varies considerably, and we need to know this. It's only when we're tasting spirits from better quality American oak that we actually get shell-shocked as to how much difference in quality of flavour and experience there actually is. But I poured a glass, as you can see, that is not got caramel colouring in it. That is a natural colour. It's a light straw colour, And this means that the previous content of the cask has been influential. It's not been maturing for terribly long, probably 8, possibly 9 years, judging by what I'm picking up in the nose. And because I did the fridge test a couple of days ago where I took a glass of this, didn't finish it, put a lid on it, put it in the fridge, and it came out the following day cloudy, which means it's non-chill filtered. They're not just saying so, they mean it, it's legitimate, and importantly, you're holding on to the fullness of the flavour because of the added texture in the spirit. Now, what have we got going on here? We've got a Caol Ila thing going on here. It's my experience that younger bottlings of Port Ascaig are from Caol Ila. Some of the older ones, and I've been informed by a friend who I trust, are from other distilleries like Bunnahabhain. But Caol Ila is the largest production volume distillery on Islay and makes consistently interesting single malt. However, when it's officially bottled by Diageo, who own the distillery, they chill filter the guts right out of it and they load it with caramel colourant because it's their compulsive reactive policy to do so. And this is why, over time, I recommend that your first bottling of Caol Ila should be an official bottling, say the 12-year-old. It's a good place to start. But thereafter, if you want to understand how important and how valuable the independent bottlers are in bringing exciting, dynamic, more flavoured versions of Caol Ila to market, then you start with the official bottling because it gives you a point of comparison. As always, not all independent bottlings are better, but many are. The nose is sweet and sour. It's actually quite fresh fruity. Melon and pineapple. The peatiness is intense, but it's suppressed actually. Suppressed in this because the fullness of the fruity flavours that are coming up from the other composites of this single malt. It's only when we get to the first taste that we get palate shock. Because bear in mind, this is the cask strength version, and this has been bottled at 59.4%. When you have higher strength, you have higher capacity for flavour because it's the strength of the alcohol, the presence of the alcohol in the form of drinking ethanol, which carries the flavour of the whisky. It is not the water. Water is a solvent. Sure it is, but alcohol is a far more powerful solvent, and it's the alcohol which carries the complexity, the dynamics, and over time holds on to it remarkably well. Nose. Back to the nose again, just for a bit. Lemon oil, slight gingery, a little bit of chilli, touch of white pepper in the background. The peatiness seems almost agitated. There's an aggressive peaty note in there. But it's not a Laphroaig peaty. It's not full of iodine. This is softer. It's more vegetal. It's more fragrant. And therefore, it works quite well when it's being robust and assertive. First taste. Just a drop without spilling too much. Oh dear. I'll rub it in so the... Oh. Big charcoal notes. Green ginger. Vanilla. Lots of vanilla. It's actually quite a relatively sweet malt. Right. What am I going to choose? Relatively or quite? I'm not going to choose both. It's quite a sweet malt, funnily enough, but the sweetness is immediately overwhelmed by that big, robust, assertive, aggressive peatiness. It has quite a nip to it. And being a relatively young whisky, a fair amount of that nip is coming from the alcohol. It tends to blast onto your palate, hold there, and just literally seems to evaporate off the tongue, even as you're swallowing this whisky. It's beautiful stuff from the moment you open the bottle. It is classic Caol Ila. Let me add some water. 1 teaspoon. It's 5 millilitres. Check out the swirling effect. Very convincing. Good stuff. This is what's called visimetry. It gives you an idea as to the density of the spirit, which gives you an idea of the quality of the make of the spirit and also the calibre of maturation. Has it been in active casks or just passive casks that they're saying are active? We've got to make up our own minds. We really can't take a distillery's word for it, unfortunately, because that word is just simply marketing. That's all it is. Even with the good guys, the good distilleries, and there's plenty of them out there, and there's a lot of good people in the industry, but they stick to the script. We have to bypass the script in order to focus where we spend our money to get the rewards we're looking for the investment we've made in whiskyology. It's what we do. I've added 10 millilitres of water. That's 2 soda spoons worth and an extra drop. So at this point, it's just a slight little haze, not a lot, appearing in the whisky. It is slow to grow. If you're in a hot climate, you might not see much of it. But if you do the fridge test, you will certainly notice it. On the nose, it's calmer, it's fruitier, it's gentler, it's softer. Overripe melon, some mild peaches, banana, grilled pineapple in the background. So quite a fruit monster in its own way, but overlaid with this crisp vegetal bonfirey peatiness, which is at this moment infusing in with the fruity notes. Where it used to be kind of dominant when it was neat, now it's infusing, it's meshing and bonding better with the other peripheral flavours that are part of the Caol Ila identity. Taste. A much more articulate arrival. A lot more articulate. A very impressive arrival. Beautiful, beautiful lemon sour. Rich peat, lemon sour, even a hint of licorice in the background. There's carbolic, there's chimney soot, there's that little bit of industrial, old industrial, back in the Victorian era, when they were using castor oil to lubricate engines instead of the fully synthetic oil that they're using now. If you're not sure about that, ask a biker. The development is swift. The end of the whisky, the final stage of the whisky, it's kind of swift, slightly gingery, slightly tannic and prickly. However, the longer you leave the whisky in the glass, and if you're not in a rush, what you're going to see is the arrival will stretch into the development, which will grow longer, become more articulate, become more herbaceous with sage and a little bit of bay leaf. Do you have a bay leaf in the garden, by the way? People use it when they're cooking salmon, when they're poaching salmon. But I recommend, for the brave, get a bay leaf and crunch it raw. Crunch it as a leaf. It will overwhelm your palate, you will recover, and you will have a very singular experience. Don't eat too many, because it's known for a fact that they can be hallucinogenic. In fact, I believe, I might be wrong, but I might not be, that the oracles at Adelphi, when they were sitting over the carbon monoxide fumes of the venting volcano beneath them, that to aid their divine stupor as they delved into the timeline, as they disturbed the timeline, what would happen is that it would be enhanced by the consumption of a brew containing large doses of bay leaf. Bay leaf is a herbal and a magical plant with the same stature as mistletoe and holly. Not a lot of people know that. You know now. You're one up in them. Let's head back to this whisky. I've given it a bit more time. I've infilled the narrative while this has been taking on a little bit more oxidisation. I'm strolling it round the glass. Nothing violent, no rough shaking. Got to be kind to a whisky if we want it to be kind to us. Back we go. Sharper. More citrus. Peat citrus. The arrival and the development almost merge. And the finish is relegated to an aftertaste of slightly hot ginger, but in a good way. Some jalapeno pepper, tequila style, and soft, slightly tannic and resinous vanillas. What am I going to give this Portascaig for being such a delightful, authentic, well-constructed and honestly presented version of Caol Ila? Well, I'm going to give it a good mark because it's a very good whisky. I'm giving it 85 out of 100, which isn't difficult because it is cask strength, legitimately cask strength, and it's most certainly unchill filtered, and it's certainly not got caramel added. Now, at the end of this video, I think you realise why I preferred to review this whisky than the whisky I originally intended to review, which was the Oban Little Bay. But if you come back for my next review, and extras, 1094 extras, I will give you a bit of a breakdown as to why I have completely rejected reviewing that other bottle of whisky. I can assure you there are good and legitimate reasons. I'll see you there. Bye-bye.